When I saw Christina Hoff Sommers from the American Enterprise Institute labeling the gender wage gap a complete myth and calling anyone who believed it bad at math and a liar,
it's the feminists, celebrities, and politicians spreading this wage gap myth who have the math problem.
I thought we better do some further research. In the most basic sense of the term, the gender pay gap is the difference between a woman's and man's average weekly full-time equivalent earnings. The current figure measured this way is 79.6%, which means that for every dollar a man earns, a woman of equivalent status earns 79.6 cents. And that data is from the US Census Bureau from 2016. We wanted to investigate this, so as a starting point, we thought we'd take a look at new graduates, people with equal levels of education before the influences of industry or promotion could affect them, and when their young age would mean that they were less likely to have family responsibilities that might impact their working hours. Surprisingly, we still found a wage gap among this demographic. In STEM areas, science, technology, engineering, and math, women earn around 77% of the wages of their male counterparts 1 year after graduation. This was surprising data, as these new grads in the same field really should be on par with each other at this stage of life, right? Christina also argues that men hold jobs in higher paying industries, and factors like hours worked and education are at play. But let's investigate. In a study by the US Department of Education, they wanted to see what would happen if males and females increased their work to 50 hours per week. The wage gap did decrease to 82%, which is a change of around 2 percentage points. Consider that women are still responsible for the majority of unpaid caring and domestic roles, and those extra hours at work make life pretty tough, and they don't make much of a difference to pay equality. In terms of education, the National Center for Education Statistics shows that significantly more women obtain bachelor's, master's, and PhDs, so they're certainly more educated on average. But in terms of what types of things they study, there are many anthropological issues that lead young girls away from traditionally higher paying fields like science, technology, engineering, and math, and into traditionally lower paying degrees. So could women just solve this problem by taking all the higher paying jobs in high paying industries? A recent EPI report says, nope. Women who work in male-dominated occupations are paid significantly less than similarly educated men in those occupations. And what happens when more women take those jobs in higher-paying, male-dominated industries? The pay gap goes down for everyone. Researchers call this phenomenon devaluation, where employers intentionally ascribe a lower value to work done in occupations where women become a larger part of the working population, and thus they pay them less. So if you're a man in engineering and more women start becoming engineers, then what happens is that just the average amount of salary that they pay engineers generally goes down as the amount of women goes up. If you want to see that study, all the links are in the description below. So do men really want women around in their territory? Well, there's a lot of research to suggest that hostile work environments drive out many women who try their hand at male-dominated careers. So for example, in STEM fields, 63% of women have reported experiencing sexual harassment. That's a lot. So it's no wonder that many of them just choose to leave those fields. Christina's video blames the wage gap on women's own life choices, about the jobs that they take on and so on. But personally, I wouldn't call getting sexually harassed out of a job in a STEM career a choice, would you? Another obvious life choice is whether or not to have children. An experimental study of resumes submitted for job openings found a bias against women and mothers and a preference for male applicants. Again, links in the description. But science debunks this blue-collar bias. Not only are women just as productive as men, but women with children are even more productive again. And women with 2 children are even more productive than women with only 1 child. Links in the description. If all women were to choose, nope, I'm not gonna have kids, I'm not gonna create the next generation, then where would we be? I mean, extinct, not promoted. So in Christina's way of looking at the wage gap, she uses a fully adjusted model, which is indeed one way to consider the wage gap. But even if you adjust for everything that you can think of to explain away the wage gap, even ignoring all of those important societal factors that created those circumstances in the first place, we're still left with an unexplained wage gap of around 7%. This could just be put down to plain old discrimination. The fact that men are more likely to negotiate harder for higher salaries, the fact that women are more likely to be penalized for negotiating salaries or other complex anthropological issues. Again, links in the description. So no matter how you look at the math, there is a wage gap, be it the national average of 79.6%, that highly adjusted ignore everything in society gap of 7%, or 73.8% for high earners, or 77% for new grads, or one of the more industry-specific gaps. There seems to be inequality no matter how you cut the data, and that's just the unfortunate truth. But since this is a debunking video, I'd love to know what you guys think. What do you think is the real wage gap? Do you think it's around the 79% that's considered the national average? Do you think employers just prefer to pay female-dominated industries lower, like teachers and nurses? Or do you think that the wage gap is non-existent? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
Hi everyone, I'm Jade Lovell, resident science nerd on the Young Turks Network. You're watching SciQ and we know you don't want to miss an episode, so please click the subscribe button down below.